Recently, I've been considering what it means to beat a game. Not just winning or finishing it, but experiencing everything until nothing's left to discover. But when is that point? Is the game beaten when the credits roll? Or maybe when it's when you beat every secret boss, or even when every collectible is acquired? It's a really neat concept to me, since it can be thought about from so many different angles. This train of thought also led me to consider the question in the context of a speedrun. Is it possible to beat a speedrun? Would that just mean beating the game? Maybe getting a world record or personal best? After consideration, I would argue that none of those necessarily result in a beaten speedrun. For almost all runs, even those which are incredibly optimized could be reduced by several seconds or even just frames. And there are many times where a record will stand for months or even years until a new glitch is discovered that opens up the game completely, decimating previous runs which were thought to be unsurpassable. This is often referred to as a holy grail discovery, as it completely changes the game, revolutionizing the speedrun. However, sometimes simply can't be reduced. They're so optimal that it's either impossible to get a lower time, or it's so difficult and improbable that it's unlikely anyone will ever have a better run. I've done some research, and while these runs are uncommon, there are several notable ones. So for today, I've compiled a list of 4 games whose speedruns were beaten. First off though, we have to define when a speedrun is considered beat. For the purpose of this video, I'll define a speedrun as beat when it is either impossible to get a lower time, or achieving a lower time is so improbable that it's unlikely anyone can or will achieve a lower time. Of the games I've included, almost all have been broken down to their source code. This means that it's extremely unlikely that any more holy grails will be discovered, cementing the current record as the fastest possible and making it so that they will continue to stand as world records for years to come. Pokemon games are some of the most popular and oldest speedrunning games, despite a ridiculous amount of RNG. Some games have to be restarted hundreds of times just to get good starting RNG for their starting Pokemon. Since the game is so RNG dependent throughout, it's easy to assume that having a perfect run is impossible, but that's not quite the case. There's a certain category where it's physically impossible to have a lower time than the current world record, at least according to the metrics used by the community. Through save corruption and menu manipulation, it's possible to warp directly to the final room of the game and enter the Hall of Fame without even leaving your house. When you do so, the victory screen will state that you completed the game in 0 hours, 0 minutes, according to the in-game timer. Since the Pokemon speedrunning community measures speedrun times using in-game time rather than real time, this time of 0 minutes is the fastest time physically possible. While some may be able to beat the game faster than others in real time, according to the community's metrics, there is no faster time, as the only value lower than 0 would be negative, which is obviously impossible. Whether or not you consider this as actually beating the game is up for debate, however, there is certainly no way to finish the speedrun faster. Super Smash Bros. Melee is a relatively popular speedrunning game, but for today, we're going to be taking a look at its lesser-known Target Smash speedrun. In this mode, players have to break all of the targets in a small area as fast as possible. This focus on speed makes it a natural mode to speedrun. Each character has their own level, which utilize their unique abilities and movesets, which allows runners to optimize the game to the extreme, to the point where they are almost perfect. Many of the records in this category have stood for well over 5 years, despite many individuals attempting to topple them in the interim. However, the runs themselves aren't technically perfect. Through a TAS or tool-assisted speedrun, which is a method where controls are input frame by frame through an emulator, runners have found that several of the long-standing runs can actually be beaten by a few frames, which would translate to several milliseconds in real time. The problem is that Melee as a game is incredibly technical, and this carries over to Target Smash as well, making it very unlikely that anyone will be able to beat the current record since it's simply incredibly difficult. The necessary inputs are so quick and precise that they are practically impossible for a human being to execute perfectly. While this speedrun is not technically beaten, the runners have pushed this run to the edge of what is humanly possible. Dragster is another example of a game whose limits were reached and beaten. This game has an astounding 14 people sharing the world record time of 5.57 seconds. Due to a certain amount of recent controversy surrounding its speedrun, The game has been torn down to each individual line of code, and runners have found that it's impossible to complete the game with a lower time. Every single input for all 14 of the first place world record runs is frame perfect, and it's impossible to shave even a millisecond off. While others may continue to add their names to the list of world record holders, those who do will have without a doubt beaten the Dragster speedrun, as a faster time simply isn't possible. There are some games that aren't challenging on a technical level, but are largely based on RNG. This means that if a run has perfect RNG and is executed well, then that run will result in the fastest possible time. The PC game Clue is a good example of this concept. In a casual run, your aim is to find evidence hidden throughout the manor which will incriminate one of the guests. However, it's possible to accuse someone as soon as the game begins, and if the person, weapon, and location you guess are all correct, then the game will end immediately and you will have won. Since a winning run will always have 3 perfect guesses, the only variable is how quickly you can click. If all 3 of your clicks are frame perfect, then it's impossible to have a lower time. While this game is a bit of a joke as a result, its speedrun has nonetheless been beaten. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out my video. I had a lot of fun researching for this one, so I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, feel free to like and subscribe. I have a new analysis out every Monday. If you'd like more videos in the interim though, feel free to check out some of my other analyses on screen. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.